I feel like a complete idiot. This week I've really struggled to make sense of the markets. I've been looking for trades in all the wrong places and it hasn't been very much fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take that confusion and try and turn it into some learnings. So we're going to do this by debriefing. We're going to go up to my desk now and get started.
Okay, so I've done the debriefs. These are not the final copy. What I'll do is I'll review these in the weekend. That's kind of standard practice. There's a lot to learn and I'll share some of this with you now. Today I didn't have conviction on a trade. And so when we go through the debrief, we're going to start at the bigger picture and pull the day apart and then work our way down to the smaller bit.
This is the bond yield chart. You can see here that we have the 2020 yield high and the market's traded above it and then failed. The question I was asking myself was, okay, so it's squeezed out that positioning. Does this market now have to go back or should it just sit here and balance? And that's one of the things that I was getting tripped up on today. So to answer that question, we'll go to the bond daily chart. So here we've got 6 days of one time framing. And yesterday the market closed above the Bollinger Band and then today the market opened above it. So that's kind of suggesting that in the short term the market's extended. So actually to understand what happened, we're better off looking at the candlesticks. This is the 30-minute. Now this one's a little bit zoomed out, so I'm going to go to another one I haven't annotated. Okay, we're a bit more zoomed in now. So what you can see here is that we have this trend line here supporting the market. So sort of 1 touch, really close here, 2, and then today the market flagged on at 3. So this broke, that's one trigger. Secondly, you can see here that the market's made a bit of a head and shoulders. So you've kind of got shoulder here, head, shoulder. Now this is actually a lot more evident on the 5-minute and we'll look at that soon. But what's really key is understanding how this bid got formed. And to really understand that, we're going to need to do that with pen and paper. Okay, so it's pen and paper time. So let's look at the P profiles. The first way it can be made is by a fast bid and then the market moves to balance and that forms a P. The second way, which is like yesterday, the market bids and then it does a bit of sideways and then bids again, and this is kind of like creating a trend, except we start to lose initiative and the distance between each of these like consolidation areas starts to decrease. And so this also forms a P profile, but maybe a little bit more elongated like that. The other thing that happened yesterday was the market had a late bid and then it failed just into the close. And so that's kind of like the completion. That's like the last exhaustion move. And so it created a profile like this. Now, while these look the same, they're actually quite different. Today, the market opened high, bid, couldn't resolve the highs, and then it left this poor structure up here. So if you can see, the market wasn't really able to hold in this zone. However, the market did have the structure here. So what this is sort of suggesting, this 45 degree, is telling us that we had this sort of passive buyer sitting here at the low. When that buyer is overcome, that then becomes a bit of an inflection point. And this is the 5-minute. Now this is potentially the most interesting. So it shows how the market really developed. This morning, a bid couldn't take out that high and then flagged. And so this is giving that 45 degree structure that I was talking about in the profiles. Now what's really interesting here is we've got the shoulder, head, shoulder, and so that's, you know, obviously that nice reversal pattern. Then the market came off here and this kind of structured sort of channel offer. One thing to notice here is that volumes were kind of poor, especially in the morning. Ideally, you know, if you're playing a breakout, you want this high conviction, high volume candle, but we didn't get that kind of break. We didn't get this fast unwind. We got this sort of structured unwind. And so what I think made today quite hard is that you had to really believe in this. So you had to build your conviction before you got in the trade.